Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vamcha kalpatarvyascha kripa sindhuvyaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vishe Namaha Vrindaya Tulasi Devyaya Priyaya Kesavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavatya Namo Namah Sakala Vaishnava Pare Mora Namaskar Ite Kichua Parada Nahuka Mara Oryachen Nuevem Pravur Jakto Vakta Jan Vandana Kuryami Savara Charana Jai Shivandana Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Jai Shri Guru Gaura Chandra Giriraju Ki Jai Dandavad dear devotees. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Readings. It's a pleasure to have you here. Once again, we will do Shravanam service together, hearing service, to purify the mind, to purify the senses, to purify our consciousness, our limited consciousness, by the mercy of transcendental knowledge. Today we will continue reading the chapter called The Disciplic Succession in the book Sri Guru and His Grace by our Srila Guru Maharaj. And it's not focusing the camera. Whoa. Okay. Well, that's okay. So, Sri Guru and His Grace Ki Jai. Jai, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. One moment, please. Here we are. Jai Gurudev. Disciplic succession. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Let's read the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, then Brahma, then Narada, then Vyasadeva, then Madhavacharya, then Padmanabha, then Nirhari, then Madhava, then Akshobhya, then Jaya Tirtha, then Jnana Sindhu, then Dayanidhi, then Vidyanidhi, then Rajendra, then Jayadharma, then Purushottam, then Brahmanja Tirtha, then Vyasa Tirtha, then Lakshmipati, then Madhavendra Puri, then Ishvara Puri, Nityananda Advaita, then Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Rupa Goswami, Sarup Damodar Sanatana Goswami, then Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, then Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, then Narottam Das Thakur, then Baladeva Vidyabhushana Jagannath Das Babaji, then Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and then it's interesting how it's illustrated here. Two branches from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. One branch is our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Raka Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and from him, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And then in the other branch, from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So that is the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And that was the end of the chapter. Thank you, dear devotees, for tuning in. Just kidding. Let's continue. Instructing spiritual masters. Devotee, can you explain how the principle of disciplic succession works? I was under the impression that in your teaching there must be an unbroken chain of disciplic succession, beginning with God Himself, in order for the knowledge to be properly understood. But when I read Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, I found that the disciplic succession contained only 38 names, although it says that the system is 50 centuries old. Is this a complete list, or are some names left out? How are we to understand these apparent historical discrepancies? Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Our Guru Parampara, disciplic succession, follows the ideal, not the body. It is a succession of instructing spiritual masters, not formal initiating spiritual masters. In a song about our Guru Parampara, written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it is mentioned. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna he Anya Rupanuga Jane Rajivana. The highest truth of Krishna consciousness comes down through the channel of Siksha Gurus, instructing spiritual masters. Those who have the standard of realization in the proper line have been accepted in the list of our disciplic succession. It is not a Diksha Guru Parampara, a succession of formal initiating gurus. Diksha or initiation is more or less a formal thing. The substantial thing is Shiksha. Shiksha, or spiritual instruction. And if our Shiksha and Diksha, gurus, or instruction and initiating spiritual masters are congruent, then we're most fortunate. There are different gradations of spiritual masters. In the scriptures, the symptoms of the guru and the symptoms of the disciple have been described. The guru must be qualified in so many ways, and the disciple must also be qualified. Then, when they come in connection, the desired result will be produced. We are concerned with Krishna consciousness, wherever it is available. In the Bhagavad Gita, and especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I start the Krishna consciousness movement, but gradually by the enervating influence of the material world, it weakens. When I find that it has diminished considerably, I return and begin a fresh movement. Again, when I find that it is becoming degraded by the adverse influence of the environment, I send one of my representatives to clear the path and give some fresh energy, invest some fresh capital in my Krishna consciousness movement. What is Krishna consciousness? We must examine the standard of Hello. Okay, we're back. Thank you, Vimal Prabhu. For how long was I talking without any sound? A couple paragraphs. Okay. So actually I'm gonna read those couple paragraphs because they were pretty cool. How Srila Guru Maharaj explained why in a disciplic succession that is more than 5 centuries, how many? 50 centuries old. Why is there only 38 names? And then Srila Guru Maharaj gave a beautiful analogy. So let's read it. We're not concerned with a material connection. The mediator is not this flesh and body as we generally think. In studying the development of scientific thought, we may connect Newton to Einstein, leaving aside many unimportant scientists. We may trace the development of science from Galileo to Newton, and then to Einstein, neglecting the middle points. If their contributions are taken into account, then the whole thing is taken into account. and lesser scientists may be omitted. When a long distance is to be surveyed, the nearest post may be neglected. Between one planet and another, the unit of measurement is a light year. Distance is calculated in light years, and not from mile to mile, or meter to meter. In the disciplic succession, only the great stalwarts in our line are considered important. Stalwarts. Devotee. There was one question still in my mind on Guru Parampara, which was not clarified. Between Baladeva Vidyabhushana and Jagannatha Das Babaji is a gulf of almost 100 years. How is it that between the two of them, no one is listed in our Guru Parampara? Srila Sridhar Maharaja, we have to forget material considerations when we consider the spiritual line. Here in this plane, the spiritual current is always being disturbed and interrupted by material obstructions. Whenever truth is interrupted by a material flow and becomes mixed or tampered with, Krishna appears to again reinstate the truth in its former position of purity. Yadha yatha hitarmasya glanir bhappati bharata. That attempt is always being made by the Lord and His devotees. The flow of the spiritual truth is a living thing, not a dead thing. The vigilant eye of the Lord is always over our heads. And whenever it is necessary to keep the current pure and flowing in full force, help descends from above. Krishna says to Arjuna, what I say to you today, I spoke to Vivasvan many years ago. Now, by the influence of material conception, that very truth has become contaminated. And so again I say the same thing to you today. Religious. Okay, Prabhu, I will check that later, the static. I'm talking to Bhima Krishna, Prabhu. Maybe I'm very close to the mic. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna continue. Religious mutations. Here in the material world, the material consideration is always tampering with the spiritual current. The purity of the truth is always being disturbed. So sometimes Krishna has to come himself, and sometimes he sends his personal representative to again reestablish the truth in its former and pure state. Oops. When the truth is sufficiently covered, disturbed, and mutilated by the influence of Maya, the illusory energy, then an attempt is made by the devotees of the Lord, or by the Lord himself, to rejuvenate it and return it to the previous standard of purity. We cannot expect truth to continue here in this world of misunderstanding without any tampering of or interruption. It is not possible. The intelligent will understand how to apply these principles practically. Suppose we're writing a story. We will note the main figures in the story, in the history. Set aside those who are not so qualified, and begin the dynasty in order of their importance. Those who are negligible will not be mentioned. In a similar way, those who are really thirsty for spiritual truth like to see the line of pure spiritual heritage. They search out where it is to be found, connect the dynasty of stalwart teachers together and say, this is our line. The disciplic succession is not a bodily succession. Sometimes it is present and sometimes it is lost, and only appears again after 2 or 3 generations, just as with Prahlad Maharaj. This is an illustration of Sri Ramanujacharya and Sri Madhavacharya. He was a great devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, but his son was a demon. Then again, his grandson was a devotee. Even in the physical line, we see such interruptions. In the spiritual line, we also see the channel of truth affected by the influence of Maya or misconception. So, the experts will seek out the important personages in the line. Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, and Einstein. Well, here we go again with modern science analogies. Suppose a scientist reaches some truth. After a few generations, another scientist comes and takes up that thread and continues his research. Then after a few more generations, another comes and takes up that thread and goes on. If we are to understand the real channel through which the particular research is progressing, we will have to study the important thinkers who helped bring it out. We see that Copernicus has contributed something before Galileo began. Then Newton came. Then there may be a gap for some time. And from Newton, we find that Einstein took it up. In this way, there may be a gap, but still that thread is continued. An intelligent man will see that it began with a particular person, and then it came to another, and then came here. That will be the proper line of research. So, in the spiritual line, this also holds true. Those who cannot understand this simple point are guided by physical considerations. They do not understand what is real spiritual truth. For them, the physical continuation is the Guru Parampara. But those who have their spiritual eyes awakened say, no, what was there is in the first Acharya is not found in the second or the third. But again, we find the same standard of purity in the fourth Acharya. The Gaudiya Sampradaya of Mahaprabhu is one, and whoever contributes to that real line will be accepted. Sri Baladeva Vidabhushana's contribution to the Sampradaya is no less important than that of the other great stalwarts in the line. He may be a member of another line, the Madhva Sampradaya, in the physical sense, but his contribution, especially in attracting people to Gaudiya Vaishnavism with his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, cannot be neglected by the students of posterity. So his contribution has been utilized by our acharyas, considering the degree, the essence, and the purity of his thought in our spiritual line. Shastra Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and Nama Guru are all taken together. In this way, a real channel has been given to us to keep up the flow of the highest truth from that world to this world. This policy has been adopted by the acharyas. Wherever we have found any contribution that is, by the will of Krishna, the highest contribution to the line, we have accepted it. So, we accept Shastra Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Mantra Guru, Nama Guru. We accept them all as our Guru. We give respect to Ramanuja, who is the head of another school of Vaishnavas. But we do not give respect to a Sahaija, an imitationist who is in the line of Mahaprabhu only in the physical sense, but who is mutilating and tampering with the real teachings of Mahaprabhu. The imitationists are not considered, although in a physical sense they are in the line of Mahaprabhu and Rupa and Sanatan. When we go to judge the very spirit of the line, we see that they are nowhere. Their connection with Mahaprabhu is only a physical imitation. On the other hand, we find that Ramanuja has made a substantial contribution to Vaishnavism. Madhavacharya has given a sufficient contribution to Vaishnavism, and Nimbarka has also made his contribution, so we accept them according to our necessity. But we reject the physical so-called current keepers, because what is found there is all mutilated and tampered with. There is a proverb: which is more useful, the nose or the breath? The intelligent will say that the breath is more essential than the nose. To sustain the life, the nose may be cut off, but if the breath continues, one may live. We consider the breath to have more importance than the nose. The physical form will misguide people to go away from the truth and follow a different direction. We don't consider the body connection important in the acharyaship. It is a spiritual current and not a body current. The disciple of a true devotee may even be a non-devotee. We admit that because we see it. And the Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. The current is damaged by the influence of this material world. In the line, some are affected, go astray, and may even become non-devotees. So, the continuation through the physical succession is not a safe criterion to be accepted. We must trace only the current of a spiritual knowledge. Wherever we can get that, we must accept it, even if it comes from the Ramanuja, Madhva, or Nimbarka Sampradaya. As much as we get from them substantially, we accept, and we reject the so-called followers of our own tradition if they are mere imitationists. The son of a political leader may not be a political leader. A political leader may also have a political succession, and his own son, although brought up in a favorable environment, may be rejected. A doctor may not be a doctor. A doctor's son may not be a doctor. In the Disciplic order also, we admit the possibility that they may be not at all come up to the same standard. Those who do not should be rejected. And if the truth is found in a substantial way somewhere else, that should be accepted. Wherever there is devotion and the correct consideration about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our Guru is there. Who is our Guru? He is not to be found in the physical form. Our Guru is to be traced wherever we find the embodiment of the pure thought and understanding, which Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted to save us. Baladeva Vidyabhushana was very akin to the Madhva Sampradaya, but when he came in connection with Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, he showed great interest in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He has also commented on the Srimad Bhagavatam and Jiva Goswami Sat Sandarbha. And that enlightened thought is a valuable contribution to our Sampradaya. We cannot dismiss him. He is our Guru. At the same time, if my own relatives do not give recognition to my Guru or to the service of Mahaprabhu, I must eliminate them. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has explained the Shiksha Guru Parampara in this way. Wherever we find the extraordinary line of the flow of love of God, and support for the same, we must bow down. That line may appear in a zigzag way, but still, that is the line of my Gurudev. In this way, it is accepted. We want the substance, not the form. The zigzag line of truth. We have left all social concerns and so many other shackles. For what? For the absolute truth. And wherever I shall find that, I must bow down my head. And if a great soul shows us, this is the path to where you will find your thirst quenched, the line is in this zigzag way. We must accept that for our own interest. We are worshippers not of form, but of substance. If the current of a spiritual substance comes another way, but I think that I must try to go this way to reach my goal, it is only jealousy, blind tenacity to stick to the physical thing. We must free ourselves from this material contamination and try to understand the value of a spiritual truth. We should always be prepared for that. We must follow what is necessary for our own interest. I am not a servant of A, B, C, or D. I am a servant of Mahaprabhu. I may have to turn this way or that way, or whatever way will be favorable to reach my Lord. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaura Chandra Giri Rasyo Ki Jai. He appeared in the right moment. Wherever I feel the presence of my Lord in an intense form, I must be attracted to that side. We're out for that thing, and not for any fashion or formality. That will hamper our cause. Krishna says, Sarvadharmam parijaya mamekam saranam braja. Wherever we shall find him, we must run in that direction. The direction may not be always straight. It may go in zigzag way. But if Krishna comes from that side, I must run there. Again, if he appears on this side, I must run to this side. My interest is with him, not that we can challenge. Why did Krishna appear here and why is he appearing there? That may be a doubtful thing, so I must stay on this side. No. If I have genuine appreciation for the real thing, the proper thing, I must go to that side, the side of Krishna. If I am blind, that is another case. Then I must have to suffer for my inability. But if anyone has the ability to understand things properly, he will run wherever he finds help. If a man in a boat is passing through the current and finds himself in a danger, then from whatever side help may come, he must turn to that side. If we are worshippers of Shiva, when we understand the special superiority of Narayana, should we stick to Shiva? And if we are worshippers of Narayana and are shown the superiority of Krishna, should we stick to our Narayan worship? And then, should we not try to go from Krishna's Bhagavad Gita to Srimad Bhagavatam? One may think, I have read the Bhagavad Gita, I like the Krishna, who is the speaker of the Gita. Then, when the Srimad Bhagavatam is given to us, should we stick to that Gita Krishna or should we try to go to the Krishna given in Srimad Bhagavatam? If we have if we have our interest in Krishna, we must run to his side, wherever he appears. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the story is told of how Gopakumara, by chanting his Gopala mantra, gradually leaves one stage and progresses to the next. There, the gradation of devotion is traced from the Karmakanda Brahmana to a devotee king, then to Indra, then to Brahma, then to Shiva, from him to Prahlad, then to Hanuman, then the Pandavas, then to the Yadavas, to Uddhava, and finally to the gopis. In this zigzag way he is passing, in the sincerity of his quest. His thirst is not being quenched. He is going from this side to that side and going up. So, all of them have their Guru Parampara. There is Prahlad's Guru Parampara, Hanuman's Guru Parampara, the Pandavas' Guru Parampara, Mahadeva's Guru Parampara. They have their own Guru Parampara. Brahma and Mahadeva are gurus themselves. They are the creators of their own lines of Guru Parampara. But Gopakumara passes them also. Why? His thirst is not quenched until he goes to Vrindavan. So, the Brihad Bhagavatamrita has shown us the line of Guru Parampara, or the real line of our quest, of our search. If we are sincerely searching after the real truth, then wherever we go may be a contribution to our experience for further preaching in the future. If we go somewhere, hoping with all sincerity that our thirst may be quenched there, but find that it is not quenched and feel some uneasiness, then, by the grace of the Lord, a connection with the higher truth will come, and we will go somewhere else, thinking that there our thirst will be quenched. Gradually we will again find dissatisfaction, the need for something higher, and again we will progress further. In this way, we may cross many Guru Paramparas before ultimately attaining the Braja Lila of Krishna, as given in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are not interested in fashion or form. If we want the real truth, then wherever it will be found, we must accept it. Mahaprabhu says, Kivabi prakivanyasi shudra kenenaya, Jai Krishna Tattva Beta Sei Guruhaya. Anyone, regardless of caste or social position, may become Guru if he knows the science of Krishna. Sometimes the father may not be our guardian. Our uncle may be our guide, and not the father. It is possible. The line of interest is to be considered the most important. So, our line is the Siksha Guru Parampara. I am thankful to those that are helping my spiritual understanding, not only in a formal way, but in the real sense. Whoever is untying the knots of our entanglement in this material world, giving us light and quenching our thirst for inner understanding and satisfaction, is our Guru. In this way, we leave our contribution of all these spiritual masters. They are all Akshisha Gurus. And all the Vaishnavas are more or less our instruction in spiritual masters. Our spiritual life may live on their contribution, but we do not accept the imitatonists. They are our enemies, a satsanga, bad association. They will take us away from the real path of understanding and progress. We must ask our sincere hearts, from whom do I really get the benefit of a spiritual life? Our sincere consciousness will be the best judge, not form. If in an earthen pot there is Ganges water, and in a golden pot there is ordinary water, which shall we select? If in a earthen pot there is Ganges water, and in a golden pot there is ordinary water, which one should we select? In a case like that, Brahmanas, the intelligent class of men, take the holy Ganges water in the earthen pot. So, the substance contained and not the container should be given the real importance. Am I this body? I am not this physical body. My own physical identification should be challenged if I am too much addicted to the physical Guru Parampara. Who am I? Am I this physical body? If I am a spiritual, then in the spiritual sphere, I shall have to look with the spiritual eyes and pursue whoever will come before me who is really following the path of Mahaprabhu. When the Pandavas retired to the Himalayas, Sridhar Maharaj was going ahead. Nobody believed they would fall. Arjuna couldn't believe that his brothers had fallen. But even after Arjuna had fallen, a dark was going on, following Maharaj Yudhishthira. We may see many men fall down in the path of our journey towards the spiritual goal, but still we should try to reach the goal. And with the help of whoever comes along, I shall go. Some may be eliminated. Even a Madhyama Adhikari Guru may sometimes be eliminated when he falls down. It is not a happy thing, but it may even occur that my Guru was going ahead, taking me forward, and fell down. Then with fresh energy, invoking the help of the Lord, I shall have to go on. Even such a disaster may come in our journey, but still, we must not be caught down. Sometimes alone and sometimes with company, we must go on. First, there must be Sukriti, accumulated merit, and then Shraddha, faith, will guide us. The quality of faith must be examined. Shraddha, faith, is a general term, but Shraddha may be defined into different classes. A high form of faith will be our fare on the way back to Godhead. Sometimes we may find co-workers, and that sometimes we may have to go alone. What of that? We cannot but go to the goal because we shall have the grace of so many unseen gurus. Unseen gurus. There are others also who are working, and their ideal will inspire me. Although physically I am not seeing any companion or any follower with me, the inspiration of the unseen gurus will be our fare. They will inspire us to go on with the journey, and our own sincere hankering for the truth will be our real guide. That is Guru Parampara. Who is Guru? Is Guru a body? Or is the Guru a Vairagi, a renunciant? A renunciant? Or is the Guru only a formal guise? A hypocrite who is showing the appearance of a sadhu, but within is doing something else. Who is a Guru? Only one who will exclusively guide me to Krishna and Mahaprabhu with devotion. He is my Guru, whatever he may be. Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, Ramananda, why do you shrink away? Do you think that I am sannyasi and you're a grihasta? You're always hesitating to reply to my questions. Do you think it does not look well for you to advise a sannyasi brahmana? Don't hesitate. You know Krishna's best. Give Krishna to me. Have courage. In this way, Mahaprabhu was encouraging Ramananda. By the grace of Krishna, you have that capital. Give it to me. You're a real capitalist. I have come to preach to the world that you're the wealthiest capitalist of the spiritual world. And that must be used for the good of the public. Don't hesitate. Don't shrink away. Come out. Ramananda said, yes, it is your capital. You have deposited it with me. And today, you have come to withdraw it from me. It is your property. I understand. And you press and push me to take it out. All right. I am a mere instrument used by you. Whatever you want me to say, I'm ready to say. In this way Ramananda was going on. But is Ramananda a member of our Sampradaya? We're so much in debt to Ramananda Rai. But he is not in the Guru Parampara. Still, he is more than many of the Gurus who are in the Guru Parampara. Srimati Radharani is not in the Guru Parampara. Should we dismiss her? First, there should be Guru, and then there is a question of Parampara. The question of first importance is who is Guru? And then there can be a chain of them coming down. Alexander the Great, form breaker. Sometimes the formal must be left aside. Once, Alexander the Great was with his father, and they came upon a chariot with a thick knot tied in its rope. There was an inscription above the knot, and there it was written, "Whoever can untie this knot will be a great king in the future." The young Alexander asked his father, "What is it, Papa?" His father replied, "This knot has been firmly tied here, and there it is written that whoever can loosen it will be a great king in the future." Alexander said, "I shall do it." He took out his sword and cut the rope. Is it clear? The formality was not kept, and now a man stood by the side. He came out and said, "Yes, he will be a great king. It cannot be otherwise." The formality was left aside. The realistic view taken, and immediately Alexander cut the guardian knot. It is a famous story, sticking to formality. He would have been lost. This happened also in the case of Columbus. Someone challenged, "Can you make an egg stand on a nail?" Columbus pushed it in. A portion broke, and he stood it on the nail and said, "Yes, I have done so." This is practical knowledge. So, the real disciplic line provides practical knowledge in support of the divine love which is coming down. We must bow down our heads wherever we find support of that. We should not become formalists, but substantialists, not fashionists, not imitationists, but realistic thinkers. That should be always our temperament. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Very interesting. Who is Guru? That is a good question. If we are sincere thinkers, I'm going to read that again. If we're sincere thinkers, anyways, if we're sincere thinkers, any line that we're trying to follow will lead us ultimately to our greatest wealth. And we heard that the Rupanuga line that we're following bestows the greatest wealth. So how fortunate we are. And now we must be careful, because Guru is not limited to a form. to clothes, to a body, to a formal position. Guru is anybody that is giving Krishna consciousness to you. And if we're listening to this, it's because we must leave behind some misconceptions. And what is that misconception? That Krishna consciousness is not formal, it's substantial. And formality, of course, is super important for us. Yet, the goal is substance, is feeling, is connection. And that is transcendental to form. So we must be careful now, from now on. Who is Guru? And if I am sincere, I will seek Guru anywhere. This is the advice of our Srila Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Raksak Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Now let's chant Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, and we'll finish our morning readings. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Aditya Chandra Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Jaha Hote Vina Nash Avisha Purana Jai Gosai Jara Muitara Das Dasavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tavera Charana Sevi Vakta Sanevas Janame Moe Avilas Jai Gosai Jave Vraje Koilavas Shishirata Krishna Nitya Lila Kori La Prakas Anande Volo Hari Vaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pare Maja Ejaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Para Padma Koriyas Hari Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narotamadas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Jai Shri Guru Guru Chandra Gira Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanu Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sapasha Dashinityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Sapasha Dashiman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Makunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. All the unassembled devotees Ki Jai. Kolkartus Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Bo. Dandava Bhima Krishna Prabhu. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for doing seva with us this morning. Dandava. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev.